Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spirit Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys Petey and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
Hey, what's going on?
Ready to rock.
Hey, so we're talking about they're trying to make a book of the last chapter of Stanley's life. Petey, can you give us a little bit more about this before we get into it?
This is Stan Lee's assistant. He will describe himself in the video. It's basically this. We've heard of some of the horror stories of Stan. Actually, we've experienced it. We've seen
Yeah,
Stan at the
saw
con.
it firsthand. Saw it
Yeah,
firsthand.
and seeing the signings and I mean, in the first picture of the Kickstarter, you can I think if you look on the thumbnail, Stan has his head down, and we've seen him signing like this with his head down all the entire time. So he is talking about the abuse that's going on during this time, and him saying he didn't have the power to do anything about it, but now he's going to do this Kickstarter, and he's going to get out the word to say what happened to Stan during these last days.
Let's get it on, Selector.
Ready, set, and here we go.
My name is John Bullerjack, and for the last 4 years of Stanley's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend. I traveled the world with him, witnessing firsthand the incredible highs of his legendary career, but also the heartbreaking lows. Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment, manipulation, and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
Is there any way to get us out of the San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it? Gotta do it.
At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it, but I did have a camera and I filmed everything.
Whoa, watch out! Jesus!
Good Lord.
Now I'm asking for your help to finish the film and finally get justice for Stan. This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts. This isn't speculation, it's all on camera. Undeniable.
This is old Stan Lee coming at you. No, you're not old.
Irrefutable.
I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No ambiguity. With your help, we can finish the film, expose the truth, and give Stan the justice he deserves. As a bonus, I'm going to share with you some insights on the film from some of the most well-respected creators in the industry.
I'll be honest, I didn't know what to expect. When I saw the documentary, I knew some of it, but like most people, I didn't know all of it. And there were pieces of it that blew me away.
It's a lot of emotions, dude. It's a crazy roller coaster.
Seeing Stan in that situation, being taken advantage of, was really hard to watch. Because I just think, I was thinking of my parents and my grandparents.
So I think it's important that people see that even the guy at the top, the most successful comic creator isn't protected.
This film shows behind the curtain that not a lot of us fans get to see.
This isn't just a fluff piece trying to attack somebody. This is like, I'll just show you in their own words.
I had no idea how badly he'd been exploited. And that's a message that people need to hear.
I really miss Dan, and just watching it just felt like I really got to know him again. My thing that I hope that, this documentary really does is, shine a light on what was going on truly with Stan Lee.
Wow, that is really interesting. So that means that he actually showed them at least a clip of the movie before, so they can actually understand what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, just the spots. I mean, we've heard a lot of things about Stanley over the years of what was going on, especially during his final years. But wow, I would definitely love to see the final chapter to have this movie see what really actually went on. I don't know. It's like then again, I'm like, do I really want to see a legend decline? And see him in such a vulnerable state. But do we need to expose that? Or do we need to put people who have been abusing him on the light? And we already know some of the people who are doing it. And It is such a rough thing. I don't even know. What's your
Were
take on
you?
it?
Did
Yeah.
you go to the? Did you go to this Boston con? I know. I remember. I don't remember if you were there with me and Sam or not, Mars.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I was hyped to go to the year before. Me and Petey had actually gotten online. I had gotten like a pass to go take a picture with Stan. So we went. We got a picture of Stan, and this is again. He's there, and I'm doing like the Spider-Man symbol with my hand, smiling, and he's like, "Excellent." So the very next year, we went to the Boston con, and his wife had passed away. It was a totally different guy. It was a totally different guy. And the thing is, I couldn't see what Stan Lee really looked like until I got close enough. So I'm there. I want to get these books signed, and oh my goodness, it was when you get when you got close, I was like, oh my goodness, this is just a frail old man. His head was down the entire time. He was just signing whatever was put in front of him. He didn't interact with the public. And when I gave over my money, I gave over cash. This guy opened up like a duffel bag and just kind of put it in there. It was filled with cash. Yeah, so I was just like looking at the money, and when the whole thing was over, I felt terrible. I was just like, I was a part of this. He shouldn't be here. Doing this type of stuff. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's coming out. It keeps him active. He didn't interact with one person, and it was a 180 degrees from the very year before when we had saw Stan at the New York City Comic Con. His wife passed away. I know that's going to change, but he should not have been in that. He should not have been in that situation. You could tell, afterwards you just come out and was like, I hated to be part of it in any shape or form. So the only question I would have now is like, you put out the documentary and you filmed everything, you couldn't do anything. Okay, fair enough. But there's no real retroactive justice for this. What do most of the people and the players, you got to catch them in real time, at the end of the day. So I'm not sure what this does for me, quite honestly. I'm not sure what this does for me or anybody who's living, because Stan is passed. There's no justice for Stan. Stan is in a different place right now. God bless him. But this has to be justice for those people who actually cared about him. For the living, and I'm not sure exactly what that does here.
Well, that's an interesting point. I mean, I put up the actual Kickstarter. The fact that he's done. I mean, 300,000 goal. I think the 74,000 is enough. It seems like a really beyond. I mean, but at the same time, there is this portion of his life, to see how rough it was when we were there at the Boston Con, to kind of see what he was going through and having to do this stuff, gives a little more insight on what was going on. But so much, I mean, I think he said it, I think so much time is spent now pointing out that he was a billionaire and Kirby and Ditko got nothing, and, ultimately up until the end, either he's providing for someone else or he had, he had a lifestyle. I don't know what it was, but he was still out here having to do stuff, not fully retired, not being able to just chill in the last days. And he'll decide not to do any of these things, not to do any cons, maybe show up for this thing. Because he also said he really didn't make much from those cameos, Because I think I asked him, he said, don't you make all this money? Like, no. So what, as an actor? He said, no, because you created this thing. No, I don't make money off of these. He had to go to court for the films.
I've said it once, say it again. Stan was middle management. Okay, he was middle management. He was no different than any of the other editors who came up in the time, like a Julius Schwartz or Mort Wessling or even Roy Thomas. The only difference is that when Marvel changed hands, Stan was like this very visible spokesperson. Okay, and he became synonymous with Marvel, but he didn't get. It wasn't like, all right, I'm getting all the royalties. I created these things. So, like, no, there was no large payday attached to it at the end of the day. And I think that is something that I've never understood with people. It's like, oh yeah, he shafted everybody else. I think they're also attaching a monetary figure to that, not just the credit, but they're also attaching the monetary figure to that as well. And if the last they show anything, no, he was not sitting, on this pile of money, cross-legged, smiling, smoking a cigar. he was still having to work like any other job.
Well, that's the thing, and it's a lot of thing is being in the films, and I mean that's the thing. I don't know if I'll be able to put it in this video, but there's a podcast where it's like all these Marvel pros, and Stan gets on, and he knows all of them. More so, he knows I guess DeFalco and Sal Buscema, but he's joking with him. Sal Buscema said, "Oh, it's so great to roast you, Stan." And I really liked your acting in that latest in the latest Hulk movie. Oh yeah, that's some of my finest work yet. So I come to the refrigerator and I tell the director's like, and I drink. I say, "Whoa!" And he said, "Can you do that again? What do you want me to say?" He said, "No, say it a little slow." I say, "Whoa, okay, whoa, oh no, do it again." He's like, "They trying to cut my lines, and I'm trying to get more part in here." So it's like it wasn't just like he comes in. Gets treated like a king. He gets it was just a bit part, and it was a nice gesture type of thing. But it's interesting to hear back in the '70s where he was much more involved in the comic books, and then moving into television and stuff in the '80s. But I think there's so much put to the showman part of Stan. We lose who the person actually was, and saying he was just this person who made himself in this big thing. We have the book, the novel, so many of these things that have come out to try to add their own thing about Stan, and try to make so many negative things about it. And some people are just, as a tough editor or even a tough scripter, him talking about talking to which is a part of his humor. It's like, oh man, I got to come up with all this stuff for this DC Just Imagine, like him saying that. And he said, oh, look, he's complaining about writing plots. This is like, what? It's a gag, you're a person on the inside. But, this thing here, it's, the hard part is, sometimes people have to grin and bear it as far as, I guess, his assistant. And some people have to say, I can't sit around while this is happening. So this is one of those things that's in that realm of, what you should do. But I think Todd McFarlane has spoken out and said this guy and his knowledge of Stan, he always did well by Stan. So, it's just a tough thing because there's other video where you see the guy who obviously is the villain of this. You're gonna see him having to keep Stan energy up while the other guy's saying, "Yeah, we need to do this." Where you say, "I think Grandpa needs to go home now." That's basically what, if you were family, you would be like, "I think we need to take Grandpa home." I think let him decide if he wants to do the con. Because I think at the same time, you imagine, when Jack Kirby was going to the cons, he had cancer. Like he was just going on wanting to do that. But Roz would rather him stayed home, and he would like, no, I'm not doing it in the day up. We're going. Like, I wish Stan had got to the stage where he could just make the decision that, okay, I need to go for the fans, not go for this whole machine that's going on.
So, is there anything else? Other than the fact that we know who these villains are going to be. I'm pretty surprised that this stuff has been there's been so many screenings, and there'll probably be more. I was taking a look at the Kickstarter. If you scroll down, there's even more screenings that I guess they're going to come up, or they'll send you what happened in some of those screenings. It's wild. You have so many variations of the book. So, it says available rewards, or it says available. Gotta screen that.
On. Prince, some sort of.
Keep going. A lot of different variations of the book. Whichever cover you want, basically. And there goes it right below San Diego. So I was thinking, is that the San Diego Comic Con?
Good chance of it. Let's see.
What happened already? See his location to be the permanent date.
February 2026.
Yeah, that passed.
No, 2026.
Oh, 2026. Oh, okay.
So there's San Diego 2026. That's 150 to go to.
Orlando. They got New
Orlando
York.
has one backer. San Diego has four. Austin has three. It's question and answer. The question and answer is going to be crazy. Because New York City has zero so far. So that's going to be in 2026.
I missed that. I was thinking it was going to be at the cons, but yeah, that makes sense.
They say
They can wait.
delivery of a screening. I guess whenever they decide the screening is going to be. So that might not be connected to a con. It might just be. I mean, it can't all be in February, so there's probably gonna be a succession of them, and they'll tell us the exact date. They get
Especially
an estimated date, but it's a bunch of them. But this, I think, I'm pretty sure. Once they're done, I mean, I don't know. It seems like they got enough to get this thing done, but it's a lot of screens.
all over the country, all
Yeah.
the major cities. So
I hope well, it's got a tribute book also with a whole bunch of pictures that we took.
it's like a comic book has different variants.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then special thanks to the film, and then Maine. For some reason, exclusive studio, Ben Bishop Studio. So I guess this is gonna be in his house for $400. All right.
Pretty expensive. So hey, if you like what you hear, hey, support the Kickstarter. Give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spin a rack.
We are out.